So this is a video all about Emilia's story. It started back when she was 5. She was a happy, outgoing 5-year-old. She enjoyed dancing and was even learning to play the drums. She also loved playing with her big sister Ellie, as well as being a bit of a daddy's girl. Emilia was a happy, normal 5-year-old until she started becoming tired all the time and having unexplained bruises. By a Worcester hospital, she was referred to Birmingham Children's, who did a bone marrow aspirate and found out she had aplastic anemia. She had weekly trips to Worcester and to Birmingham to have treatment, platelets and whole blood transfusions. The staff at both hospitals were amazing and explained to us about aplastic anemia. Although thanks to the AA Trust, Ellie was the real expert. Aplastic anemia affects your bone marrow. Bone marrow is important because it creates all of the products that go into your blood. People with aplastic anemia are normally deficient in red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Most patients will need to have regular transfusions of either whole blood or platelets, or both. The only real cure for aplastic anemia is to have a stem cell or bone marrow transplant. This is the treatment that we were recommended for Emilia. But more about that later. Channel 5 News covered a story on stem cell transplants just last year.
Bone marrow contains those cells constantly at work making new blood cells. And when that process goes wrong, blood cancers or life-threatening anemia develop. The treatment is to wipe out those malfunctioning cells with chemo and radiation and replace them with healthy ones from a donor. But a close genetic match is really important, and figures compiled by blood disorder charity DKMS show new registrations to donate dropped off during the pandemic and the numbers still haven't recovered. Compounding this, there's an age cut-off for donating, which means this year 10,000 people will drop off the register because they're too old. Part of the problem may be people aren't aware the donation process has become easier.
Donating your stem cells is a really simple outpatient procedure. It's very similar to donating blood platelets. In a nutshell, your blood is taken out of one arm, it's spun in the machine to remove the stem cells, your blood is put back into you. It really is a much easier process than it was maybe 20 or 30 years ago.
And his fur comes off.
6-year-old Emilia's bone marrow had stopped working and she had a transplant last August.
My hair has fallen out. I didn't recognise myself, so then I cried, but now I'm feeling much better.
Her new stem cells were donated by a young man from Germany.
It's amazing that someone actually took the time to do that, and there's no question they did save Emilia's life.
As mentioned by Deborah from DKMS, donating stem cells or bone marrow is a lot easier than it was in the past. Most donors can participate in peripheral blood harvesting of stem cells. This is a similar process to donating platelets, something which I do every single month. The donation takes around about 70 minutes to complete. The staff at the NHS donor centres are brilliant. They really keep you well looked after, especially as you can't go anywhere. Certainly cups of tea and Kit Kats help me get through it. It's also a good time to sit and reflect and think about why you're there. It's to help others. Platelets don't just help patients with aplastic anemia. They're mainly used to help people who are undergoing cancer treatment. That's both adults and children. Just one platelet donation can help up to 3 adults or 12 children. At the time of making this video, I'd donated platelets 14 times with a total of 39 credits, so I've effectively helped 168 children with cancer. That makes me proud. Donation done, I can get on with the rest of my day. It's that easy. So back to the little monster, Emilia's story. So Emilia had been to hospital several times and she'd had a central line fitted. This made all the transfusions she needed a lot simpler and less painful. It was around this time that we found out that we had a donor for Emilia. Of course we had trepidation about her going into hospital for a long time, but we got ready. We chopped her hair, to make it easier when it fell out after the chemo. We tried not to worry, and Emilia have made us feel better by rocking her new haircut. Before long, it was time for Emilia to go into hospital. She had an NG tube fitted for feeds and started her week-long course of chemotherapy to kill off the last remaining bits of bone marrow that she had. Thank God for Mum Steph being there to keep her entertained. The week-long chemotherapy finished and Emilia had her second birthday. It was stem cell transplant day. We all had a party in the hospital, including the nurses and of course Ellie at home. All of the staff at BCH were amazing, as were the Grace Kelly Childhood Cancer Trust who kept us going whilst Emilia was in there. Emilia was a character, even when she lost her hair. She certainly made up for it in other ways. I came to visit her and Steph as much as I could, but I was still working. Once Emilia had recovered a little, she could have her big sister Ellie come and see her. This was one of the happiest days that I've ever seen for her. The very happiest day, however, was when we were getting ready to leave and Emilia just had to dance. Even if it was to the alarm on the machine. After 2 months of isolation in hospital, it was time to go and it was time to ring that treatment bell. Emilia being Emilia also rung the bell for Rycroft Foster, who sadly never got the chance to ring it himself. With Emilia now home, thoughts turned to Christmas. This would be a really, really special Christmas for Emilia. Not least because she'd been asked to perform on a lovely track for the Singing Medicine people.
You're down, I'm here, and your friends are near. Just look around and you'll have everything.
As well as her recording debut, Emilia also turned on the Christmas lights at Warwick Castle. Emilia continued going back into Birmingham for checkups, as well as receiving a special visit from DKMS. We were really proud that Emilia's story had inspired so many people to sign up to DKMS and be potential lifesavers. Before long, it was Emilia's 6th birthday, a birthday we didn't know she was going to reach. But she made it. And with sister Ellie, she tore into her presents. What is it? Fast forwarding a little bit through the year into Emilia's 2nd birthday, which is now in September. We wanted to celebrate this milestone of having a year after her stem cell transplant, and so did Emilia. So she decided to ask for presents to donate to Birmingham Children's Hospital. She really is the most selfless child I've ever met. Emilia also got the opportunity to ring the bell again, this time at Worcester where she started her treatment.
Right, do you want a hand reading it? To say that you're all done. We've written some words on the back that you can read when you get older. Okay.
By this time, Emilia was starting to get back to some normal activities. like practicing the drums. However, more important things beckoned for Emilia, and she became literally the poster child for Global's Make Some Noise 2024. She appeared on billboards and posters and OOH up and down the country. She also participated in Toby Tarrant's Pedalo Challenge on Radio X. This is where we got to meet Dan Searson, aka Big Bad Dan, as well as getting to meet the main man, Toby Tarrant. We did this with the Grace Kelly Childhood Cancer Trust, who are an amazing charity based locally to us and have been so important in Emilia's journey, as well as keeping myself, Steph and Ellie sane. When we went to see Toby doing his challenge, I talked a little bit more about the Grace Kelly Childhood Cancer Trust.
So Emilia, so first of all, when did you get the diagnosis about Emilia?
So it was actually in end of February, beginning of March last year in 2023, where we noticed that Emilia had a few bruises and was quite tired all the time. She was asking to go to bed, which is quite unusual for a 5-year-old to do. Went to the GP, kind of had to wait until about end of April, beginning of May to be seen at Birmingham Children's Hospital. Go cough over. To Birmingham Children's Hospital, and that's when we got the diagnosis of aplastic anemia, and were told that she would need to have a stem cell transplant, which was quite a worrying and difficult time for us as a family, really.
Do you remember this, Emilia? Do you remember this all happening?
No,
You don't remember it because you were really little at the time.
I was only 5.
You were only 5, yeah.
It's a year ago.
Fair enough. It's a year ago. It's a long time, isn't it? A year. It's a very, very long time. And then how did you hear about the Grace Kelly Cancer Trust?
We were actually in Worcester Hospital, and we were kind of sat there and didn't know really what to do, and we were introduced to a lovely lady from the Grace Kelly Cancer Trust who came over, explained who they are, what they do, straight away offered us some practical help. They gave Emilia and Steph, my wife, a really, really nice bag full of such useful things for, child and parents being in hospital. And that was our first experience of them. They then contacted us afterwards, gave us some financial help, which was really important, trying to have to travel between our house and the hospital. Also gave us some emotional and support and help, really. So we've had Sam, our support worker from Grace Kelly, for a good while, who comes and sees Emilia, but also Emilia's older sister Ellie. Comes and talks to my wife Steph, has spoken to me on numerous occasions. So it's been a real kind of like 360 degrees of help. But one of the most kind of amazing things I think that the guys do, along with the emotional stuff, is whilst Emilia was in hospital in isolation, they organised a robot to go in Emilia's place to school. So Emilia could actually see her classmates on her iPad and join in the lessons. And joined in all the lessons.
That was in year 1.
Was that year 1? Wasn't it? Yeah, year 1. So last year. So they offer such a wide range of support to families like us that are in need of help, really.
That's pretty cool. So a robot went to school for you?
Yeah.
Really? Do you think we can get a robot to finish this pedalo challenge for me?
I think you're on your own there.
I think I'm on my own there. And have you enjoyed what you've done with the Grace Kelly Cancer Trust? Do you like all the people that work for them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite? Bearing in mind she's standing over there.
Say her.
Who is it?
I'm kidding.
You had us going there.
It's a very good acting. I was convinced. Yeah, I mean that's one of the charities that Make Some Noise supported last year. So it's an example of the amazing work that Make Some Noise, and then the charities like Grace Kelly Cancer Trust do as well. And they're the sort of small charities that really need our help. So I'm so pleased that you found them and they found you at the time that you needed the most. And it's very nice to see you here, Emilia, looking all happy and healthy. It's lovely to see you, even though your T-shirt says Tallulah, not Toby. I'm going to forgive you, okay?
As part of the campaign, Emilia also recorded some audio which was played out on all of the global stations. Here's Chris Moyles to introduce it.
About right now, and I will warn you, I'm about to play the instrumental of Coldplay's Fix You, and I'm going to tell you about the Grace Kelly Childhood Cancer Trust. This is one of the charities that we help with Make Some Noise. And Emilia is 5 years old. She's a beneficiary of this charity, together with James, who is Emilia's dad. Now, the charity, the Grace Kelly Childhood Cancer Trust, as you can imagine, it provides support to families dealing with childhood cancer and other rare diseases. Now, when Emilia was just 5 years old, she was diagnosed with a very rare disease, very rare. It meant that she had to go through chemotherapy, and she also had a stem cell transplant at the age of 5. Her name is Emilia. She is an adorable little cutie, and this is her.
I had to have needle in my arm, and I had to have blood taken out, and I had to put platelets and blood back in me, and I had to be attached to a machine. I had to stop swimming and couldn't go to school and had to stop going to ballet too. I did have to stay in my house for lots of months so I didn't get infections. The worst thing is that I can't see all my friends. It felt sad. And then Sam came along to my house to play games with me and look after me. It made me feel really happy. I like playing pebble, painting and planting sunflowers. I would like to say thank you for Sam to look after me. It was nice to have a visitor.
She's adorable. So 5 years old. Now, she had this rare disease. She didn't have cancer, but she had to go through the chemotherapy, which, if you've been through it yourself, like yourself or somebody in your family, you'll know is just chemotherapy can be brutal. And imagine that at 5 years old. After several health setbacks, during the 21 weeks of home isolation, Emilia is now feeling much better. She's returned to school. She's returned to her dance classes. She loves being reunited with her friends. She's now competing in dance competitions with her big sister. And that is with the help of a great charity. And this is where you come in. Because we need to raise as much money as we can. This is the Grace Kelly Childhood Cancer Trust, just one of the many, many charities that we support. So, here's what you...
Campaign raised £3.8 million, which is fantastic and will help so many small charities across the UK to help so many people. After the excitement of Global's Make Some Noise campaign, Emilia got back to the business of being a kid. However, for her, that included a lot of medication that needed to be taken on a daily basis. She was still regularly taking around 5 lots of different medication in the morning and 5 lots in the evening. As you can imagine, this took some considerable time to prepare each morning and each evening, as well as a considerable amount spent on bribes in order to get Emilia to take the medication at times. Although she did take a few herself, which was good. As the end of 2024 approached, Emilia's hair started to grow back a lot more. She started to be able to do more and more things. Colour came back to her cheeks, and she was back to being Emilia. Which brings us up to date. Emilia is still helping people at Christmas time. Her story is still inspiring people to give to others. Let's all try and be a little bit more Emilia. Now we're into 2025, Emilia says she feels on top of the world. She's doing well at school, she's back to her dance classes. I'd just like to say a big thank you to the Grace Kelly Childhood Cancer Trust for being there when we need you to do the most. A huge thank you to all the staff at Worcester Royal Hospital and the Birmingham Children's Hospital. Emilia just wouldn't be here without you. Thank you to DKMS for allowing us to share Emilia's story to inspire people to sign up to the stem cell register. A big thank you to Dan Searson from Challenge the Wild. Thanks for roping me into the challenge later this year, and thank you for encouraging me to share more of Emilia's story. Finally, a massive thank you to Radio X and Global's Make Some Noise. In particular, Alex Hockey, Suzanne Ryder-Richardson, Pippa Taylor, Toby Tarrant, and of course Chris Moyles. Thank you. Thanks for watching and for finding out more about Emilia's story and why I've decided to share my experiences. Please think about subscribing so that you can follow my progress up to June and beyond. Thanks very much.